Okay, welcome to WalkInto training session. So today it's a very interesting, important session that we are going to cover. Some techniques to make sure that walk-intos come decently well in mobile as well as in desktop. So now this is a challenging topic even for the most experienced web designers and for a uh, visual editor like walk-into, this is even more of a challenge. So there are certain assumptions that we do, certain design techniques that we recommend, which makes the visual representation of a walk-into in both mobile and desktop versions quite decent. So first of all, almost all features work very nicely on mobile and desktop. One feature that currently doesn't work so well on mobile is floor plan. So floor plan is we have not discussed that yet, but floor plan is very useful tool, and in our experience, it makes a lot more sense for it to perfectly work on desktop, and it will be great when we can make it work nicely in mobile also. So in this case, it works fine. Just that the responsiveness, the size of the particular floor plan image, all of them are a little bit of a challenge to manage. So when we say responsive adjustment, the main things that we want to cover is the difference in behavior for menu, hotspots, and tool cards. And it is important that you understand it well. So first of all, let's take a look at some of the very useful tools that are available to us. So currently, I'm on Chrome, and almost all modern browsers has this. So still, Chrome has sort of done it very nicely. What I'm showing here is, so here you can see that this is an emulator. This emulator is built into Chrome. So when you are making a walk-into in Chrome, it is only like two button presses away that you can get into an emulator where you can actually simulate how your walk-into is going to look on different devices. And it's a lot of devices, starting from it's an alphabetic list, Amazon Kindle onwards to Samsung Galaxy S4, and this device list keeps changing. So here you can see that iPhone devices are there, iPad devices are there, LG devices are there, and Nokia N9 devices is there. Different Galaxy devices are there. So all of them are popular devices. What we have seen is of the mobile traffic, about 70% of traffic comes from iPhone and the iPad, and remaining is coming from Android devices. So obviously, it is very popular. So here I'm looking at the same tool in a Google Nexus 5 emulator, and let me show you how to get to this. So how to get to this is on the right menu on top here. You can go to more tools and pick up developer tools. Once you pick up developer tools, and then once the developer tool comes up, let me show that first. So from here, click here, more tools, and pick developer tools. That will kind of bring out this whole right panel, which usually you don't get into. There's a reason why it is called developer tools, but actually like you are doing a bit of development right now, so it's better that you know about it. So now we still don't see that emulator. So the emulator, to bring up the emulator, you click on this toggle device mode. So that suddenly magically transforms the browser into a emulator mode. So once this is an emulator, we can pick whichever device that we want, depending upon what we pick. Um, the overall dimensions of the display changes. Once you change something, it's a very good idea to click refresh once so that the overall tool loading happens correctly. All right. So now let's look here. What happened here? So now you can see that the on desktop version, I have a menu like this. And here, if we look at it, the menu is nowhere here. Menu is inside this, and this is a swipe out. So if you swipe, if you in a touch device, if you swipe, you will get the menu. If you click here, also the menu will come. And the Here the clicks work as it should. See inside text me here. So here you can see that there is this is a good use case. The viewport card is so all the tool cards in the mobile view of WalkInto, it doesn't really go by exactly where you have placed it in editor. The reason is that in mobile view, we have constraints of space. So to account for that constraints, we take some defaults and all the tool cards are sort of shown right in the middle. And when the user closes it away, it hides away to the bottom or to the right, wherever like it is out of sight, so that most focus is on the street view itself, and menu is hidden away here, all the controls are hidden away here. So mostly like unless it is a hotspot, things will not be that much visible. Now, when you add a hotspot, here there is absolutely no issue. Hotspot just comes up as is a hotspot should. And I'm just going to add a focus hotspot here. We just added that. Let's take a look at in our Nexus 7 version. It's a medium-sized uh, pad. So it comes there, it stays there. When I click on it, here the toolkit comes right in the middle. And when I move outside that view, it hides away to the right. So this is the standard behavior, except for the place where it comes. And the place where it comes is an important information for you to know so that you can design it accordingly. Now, another key aspect when you're working with tool cards is this is a very common thing that we get as to how to manage image sizes. Let me show you a way to do that. Say like I want to add an image here, and okay. So now it is added here, and if I by default it comes up with the width and height of that image, and it looks quite ugly. Like if I don't do anything about it, and then uh, natural reaction when something like this happens, where like things look very big, is to start pulling the tool card till everything is visible. This completely screws up the overall user experience, and it's very easy to fix it too. So now let's see how this happens. This shows up on our desktop version. This will show up in the exact size in which that we have defined it, and it's coming up like this. If I go to the iPad version, let's see how it comes up. Here it is like fairly big and large. So this is also again going by the same dimension size, and here it is fitting because that device has that much size. Now let's see like how this is going to look on the iPhone 6 Plus. You see that iPhone 6 Plus doesn't have enough of width to accommodate this image, and here you can see that it's all cut up and ugly. So when we are designing for responsiveness, it's important that we manage this slightly better. And to do that, it's not very difficult. What you can do is you can put this width as say 100% and leave the height blank. Now, by doing that, what we are essentially telling is that depending upon how my tool card is sized, try to fit it that way. So now this is sort of a decent size that we can go with. And now when I go to the iPhone version, you, you, since the width is going to be smaller for me, it gets a chance to adjust itself without like losing the perspective. It's a very simple way, and this technique that we just did works beautifully in for images as well as almost all content, iframe content, video content, all of them it works fine. So the technique is simple. You specify the width as 100% and leave height blank. So that will take care of automatically adjusting your tool cards depending upon the device sizes. Okay. Here, let's take a look on the iPad. Also, it's a good idea to not to overcrowd your design, because you're trying to make a marketing material. So it is very important that you draw your users attention to the prominent message on a particular scene, and it shouldn't be overcrowded. So never put more than one image, one text. uh, as a hotspot. Hotspots are okay. Hotspots like one or two hotspots. If the scene is really rich, it's acceptable. But tour cards, things that are coming up as 360 tour cards especially, do not overcrowd it. It's not a good idea at all. And use tour cards appropriately. So, for example, like say, had this been a logo card, let's like take this away for now. And now logo card is treated differently, treated appropriately rather, in mobile as well as in desktop, and it's slightly different. I'm going to use the same image. It says a lot of shortcut is happening right here. I mean, its perspective always is kept without any problem. It always like sizes accordingly. So now this on a desktop device, this size is fine. But when I go to a mobile, if that shows up as a logo card everywhere on my tool, that's not going to be a good experience. So because of that, to consider that scenario, we are sort of doing a defaulting. So logo card comes on the right bottom in a very small size. When you click on it, it shows up right in the middle without any problem. So this just like the standard tour card behavior. It shows up in the middle when user touches on that. And other considerations are like say when you are opening um, one menu item or opening another one of your tour cards, the other active one will go away. Let's like take a look at how it behaves when it's a viewport card. Okay, then I'm going to delete this for now. So viewport card, like what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of a interesting scenario. I'm going to make this one. This is good. Okay. So on this scene, it's going to upload this same image. I'm almost running an ad for Garoptic 360 cam. So now this one I've set on this particular view, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a copy of this. I'll call this card one, and say I want to have another one of the same card. I'm going to have it on this view. Okay. This is okay. Now this view. Okay. All right. So now I have two cards. This I'll call card two. Save. Okay. Okay. I'm just detaching it. This is card one. This is card two. Now let's see how this comes up on our desktop. Desktop shouldn't be any surprises as such. So card one comes here, move here, and card two comes slightly in a different location. Now, when I'm on the iPhone device, for example, the initial loading screen, it shows up card one. When I move here, the card two comes up, but you can see that card one to card two, the shift is really smooth because it's the exact same location that's being used. So this is an important aspect that you should know, irrespective of where you place your tour card on the tour card editor. the currently active card, that always comes up right in the middle of the mobile screen. Okay, now there's another interesting scenario here that I will demonstrate. I mean, these are not obvious things that comes up always. So I'm going to move into a view where, like, okay, now both these cards are active, right? So now I have set it in such a way that, so the two cards in such a way that card one and card two is supposed to come up when I'm looking at the same scene. This I know that this is a hypothetical case. I mean, normally like you will not do that. So now you can see that these two cards are there, and cards came up, and I'm completely getting the scenario in which both of them are coming together. Okay, so what happens here is, I really wanted to get to a, there's a small angle where the card one should be getting preference. Okay, I think, okay. See, you can see here the card one came up, here card two came up. So here card two and card one both have visibility. And when I'm moving to this side, there should be a small wedge where card one should again come up. Anyway, so the point that I want to make is, even though there are two cards supposed to be visible at the same time, one card always gets the preference, and user always can click on the other card when the second card is visible here. It can touch here and switch between card one and card two. Okay, so that switch is always possible. Let me take a look. Okay. Again, we have the Q&A panel running. So if I'm not, all right. So Francois told about a typical problem that when you bring up the developer panel, that the whole screen looks weird. So the answer to that is, when you even for me it is the same. So let me just show you that. So it's, so here, say I bring it up. Okay, maybe like I was slightly lucky. So see here it is like this. So this is the default view, and what you need to do whenever you bring up the developer panel, the first thing that you do is you click on refresh, so that the whole Chrome reinitializes back with this settings. So when you bring up the developer panel, all you need to do is to click refresh once, so that the screen gets reinitialized correctly. And this is true like whenever you even change the devices to something small. Here also, like when you change it, like it looks okay, but always from a developer perspective, it's a good idea to just hit refresh once so that things are initialized correctly. Okay. So one question that what we discussed so far is to make a content resize accordingly. It's very hard to make the whole tour card resize accurate way. The way the control is with you, and the key thing to use is wherever you need to put a dimension, use a percentage of width for that. So that will ensure that your tour card is appropriately sized on all different device sizes. All right, coming back to the other techniques. Now we briefly discussed about how the viewport tool card placements can be tricky. Logo card behavior between the mobile and tool card mobile and desktop devices we discussed. Um, and here I'm going to set it away this way. And 360 card is a very standard behavior it has, and that one it stays it always. I mean, again the behavior is standard in the sense like irrespective of where you place on your desktop device, this always comes up in the middle for you. And here there is a stack in mobile devices. There is a priority stack that WalkInto uses, such as if there is a tour card that is supposed to come up your on a mobile click, on a hotspot click, that gets the first priority. If there are no hotspot click tour cards, then viewport card, if there's a viewport card, that gets the second priority. And if there are no viewport cards also, then the 360 cards get the priority. So this is a sequence of tour cards that we use. And here you can see that since there was a viewport card, this our tour card never came up. And even though a 360 card is there, it is hidden away. And here, like, our viewport cards are getting the preferences, and tour card 360 card always gets an extra icon on the right, and this icon touch is what brings up. So again, the philosophy that we are using here is uh, the scene the user wants to look at gets the maximum priority, and it is a really somewhat it's not so good user experience to hide the whole scene with display, and always give some nice indicators on what information is available. For example, here if you look at it, when the tool loads, you'll notice that this icon on the right, it pulsates once. It kind of shows once. It lights up and it dims to let the user know. It's an indicator that there is some information there, and if you touch it, it will come right in the middle. So it's a totally different user experience than what is on the desktop, and it is deliberate. It's deliberate for us, and the philosophy, as I said, is to make sure that um, the, the panoramic view gets most preference, and the overlay is accessible all the time without really disturbing the total view. So this is the philosophy. We did see as to how the audio toolcards work, and another important aspect that we need to check on is the video cards. All right, so let's put up a video card, and the simplest way to include a video is just to use this one. For example, if it is a focus card on which you need to bring up a video, so because this automatically gets adjusted to your to the device size. So if I go with this and I go to the so here you see that this automatically gets the right size in the middle, and it is perfectly manageable for me. And even if the device is flipped like this, it will again get the proper size. So this is a nice way of managing the video toolcards by giving it the full dimensions that you want to use. If it is a focus card, so now it's not always a focus card. So when it is not a focus card, you again have more tools available to you, such as for video part. The template is, say it is a 360 card. This one is really useful, and here again the idea is just to paste in this, and then you get to the adjust the window to the dimensions that you need. Most of them are 16:9, so 16:9 shouldn't be much of a challenge. But here the difference is that it doesn't come up right in the middle. So here, like if you now, when we try this, it's a 360 card, right? So 360 cards get a stack. Now there are two 360 cards here. So here, like I have one, so it comes up this way in the middle. It's a very different way of rendering than what we had with the with the other focus YouTube card. So pick the one that works best for you. Uh, in most cases, it is like so you have very responsive elements that are available for video. You can make the images responsive by giving the dimensions in percentages, and not by not giving a lot of overcrowding in any of your scenes. You get to manage it accordingly. Here you can see that, for example, the tool card is overlapping, overflowing the screen. This way, now when it is overflowing here, the bottom part has actually become scrollable. It's not cutting off the text. So, and if user is like flipping the mobile phone, that's the most normal thing to do at that point of time. Everything will come back to normal. And let's take a look at here. Here again, the device when the device is flipped, even then the size of the video is accurately adjusted. So here it is this way, it is slightly bigger because the dimensions that are available are slightly different. And here it is like this. So in either case, the video will come in the most normal natural position, which is right in the middle, and one click away, it can be hidden off. Okay. All right. So these are some of the simple techniques to make sure that the mobile experience is good. The menu is, and one additional thing. I mean, this is not so. It's not really a responsive thing, but you have a tool here. It's called minimize top bar. This is part of the top bar, and when you close it, what you get is you get the rest of the. This is the editor. You get rest of the real estate on top. So you can actually use that and don't worry about losing control of anything. So say you place, and this is most useful, say when you want to position a logo right at the top, you can do that. Go ahead and just do that. And after that you can just hide it away. So this is the way in which the tool is going to come up. And when you want to drag and move it, you can always use this small close button on the editor to get hold of the tool card and move it away. So this is another very nifty way in which you can manage the elements that you have on the tool card. Okay. Um, these are some of the important aspects that I wanted to discuss. These are good tools to carry when you're designing. And most important thing is to use the developer tools in Chrome to bring up the developer console and like manage different dimensions that the devices come in. And currently, it is huge number of device dimensions are there, and it's easy to bring it up. You just use more tools and use developer tools, and that will give you the very powerful emulator within which you can play around with different dimensions and sizes. Okay. Thank you very much. Let me see whether there are questions. If there are questions, I would love to take those. Okay, all right. So I hope this was a useful session to cover the basics of how to go about like designing responsive tool cards and responsive walkthroughs. Any challenges that you face, and you might face some challenges while designing for different sizes of different dimensions of devices, do write in. So that input is always helpful for us to design or make changes in such a way that more devices are rightly used for a walkthrough. Thank you very much.